Welcome to another episode of Hard Lessons with Demel Hannah. I'm your host, Demel Hannah. You know, segregation in Stateville, it was his own monster. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, it was his own monster. And in it being just that, a monster, it's gonna bring something out of you. It is. It's gonna bring something out of you. If you are goofy, when you go to segregation, you gonna be a goofy times 10. If you are smart or have the potential to be smart, when you go to segregation, if you spend a length of time, you're gonna multiply your smartness. You is. If you are an artist that either draw or write, when you go to segregation, the next time, if you go to segregation in February and you just start writing poetry, or you've been writing for a while, or you write raps, or you write books, or you write plays, or you write whatever, if you go to segregation and stay longer than 6 months, the next time somebody hear you either recite some poetry, recite a rap, they see a painting of yours, the shit is gonna be awesome. You're gonna sound different. You're gonna sound better. You do. Segregation does something to you. It's gonna pull something out of you. It is. And it did with me. It did with me because when I went to segregation after that 30 days, the next time, and I stayed 7.5 months, and I came out, I was a total different person. I totally changed. And I knew it. Like, I knew it. But I changed in a way whereas I knew I was a leader already. But when I went to segregation and I stayed them 7.5 months, I went from F house, I house, F house, I house. I seen some shit in them 7 months. And I was 20. It was in 2000. Man, I changed. I went to another level though with my thinking, because I went through some hard shit, man. You know, some nights I ain't had no damn sheet, no blanket. I thought the fucking bed had bed bugs or some shit. I went through some shit inside of the prison. Could you imagine that shit? Could you imagine that shit, man? You in prison. You fucking can't, you ain't got no sheets or blanket. They ain't gave it to you. You've been asking for the shit. But they ain't gave it to you. And now it's another shift that changed, and another shift. You still ain't got no fucking sheets and blanket. You in segregation. Fuck, and then this motherfucker, I didn't even know what the fuck bed bugs is. Now, when I think about it now, I know what the fuck it was. All I knew, I was fucking itching all fucking night. Like, fuck, man. And the cells in our house, it's like the bunk here, the fucking toilet, you know, sink or whatever. And then there was a little area where you could like put your shit, you know, the shelf. It was a shelf area, our house. I hope my nephew could find the inside of our house, Stateville, hopefully. It's a little shelf, and you needed that shelf because our house used to flood like a motherfucker. When it flooded, if you was in one of them damn cells where the damn ceiling might be leaking, hopefully it ain't leaking on the shelf. Because if the shit, if you got one of them cells where the fucking ceiling is leaking on the shelf, you gotta get all your shit off the fucking shelf. and put it on the bed with you. Cause the shit go be leaking all on the fucking shelf, and then eventually it's gonna get on the fucking floor. Could you imagine living like that in prison? You in prison, living like that. What the fuck, man? So, you know, that motherfucker go bring some shit up out of you, man. You know, and I witnessed that shit, man, in fucking segregation at Stateville. You know, it was a lot of motherfuckers, they was losing their shit back there. Well, they had already lost it, you know. They was either losing it or had already lost it. But that motherfucker too, especially our house, you know, few guys had been murdered back there by the police. You know what I mean? They cellmates. You know, so that shit was a reality. You know, this wasn't no motherfucking Cook County SIG. You know what I mean? This wasn't no motherfucking Cook County SIG. This was like Stateville, segregation, motherfucker. That door closed. It's on you. It's on you. Whoever the fuck you in there with, he could become your boogeyman. You know? And I'm 19, 20, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm 19, 20. You know, so I changed overnight. I did. Because I knew, I knew when I came out of segregation, really not that time, the second time when I went back and did 6.5 months, and I got out June of 2001. I was 21. You know, I compared myself to, you know, some 21-year-olds that we watched grew up on TV and shit. I was just in prison. That's how I felt. I felt like at 21, 22, 23, 20, you know, as I tell y'all, I felt like I was great. I was just fucking caged, so I couldn't be. But, you know, I was that talented. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a fucking rage, man. I was mad about that because I knew I was talented, but I couldn't do shit with it because I was fucking encaged. You know? Shit was all fucking fucked up around that time, man. But segregation, it's gonna bring something out you. If you a goofy motherfucker, you gonna be a goofy motherfucker times 10. You know, if you a cool dude, you know what I'm saying? You go be cool. You know what I'm saying? You go find something. You go find something. You go find something. For me, my high was like, I'm these motherfuckers. Because I felt like it wasn't my fault, especially those 2 times I went to segregation. I felt like, man, goddamn, I'm gonna piss eventually. But they only give you 2 hours. They give you 2 hours to piss. If you do not piss within those 2 hours, they mark it as a refusal. See, that's how I was going to say it. I'm so fucking caught up in the 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I can't fucking piss. I couldn't piss for nothing in the world, man. And man, shit. So I felt like it wasn't my fault. So I got that. I'm mad about that. I'm like, man, if they would have gave me a little more time. You know what I mean? So I'm mad about that. I'm in segregation. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was like, you know, for me, it just made me very militant, man. Made me want to be very smart and shit, man. Made me a smart ass. Segregation made me a smart ass. It did. If anything in my life, any point in my life where I became a smart ass, it was in segregation. And I mean that sarcastically. I mean that literally. You know what I'm saying? I mean that in every way you can think. Segregation made me a smart ass. I'm gonna tell you how.